to cure us. But I say to you, we are the cure.
And says, now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
They want me to spy on the Chancellor. If that's treason, we are at war, Anakin.
Took scientists to be the high priests of our new world. Science itself has gotten corrupted.
And yet, when we needed it, the system has now failed us. And it has failed us comprehensively.
Yes.
Is that if the governor and the mayor are not going to take care of this problem, people will. People will uprise over this.
Live pictures that we're getting in.
Get started. This is Addy Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one of YouTube. I'm very happy to be joined by Mr. Roundtable today. I'm broadcasting from an Airbnb at an undisclosed location, and Mr. ShrimpZoo is joining me from Buffalo, New York. How are you doing, Shrimp?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good, man. I've been watching a couple of your videos recently. I do appreciate the shout out in your video. You had Dr. Cottrell in there too, Doc Paul as well, and yeah, I like the style of videos you've been doing recently. It's really really cool. But do you want to just give us an update on how things are going in Buffalo and what you've been up to recently besides?
As far as COVID in Buffalo, we're like on the tail end, I guess, of the first wave or spike, whatever you want to call it. My wife works at Millard Fillmore, and I guess they don't really care, or they're trying to hide it, but there's a small amount of people that have it. They're just sending them home, doing like images of their lungs saying you may have it, and then not swab testing them. Kind of reckless, because if you're not aware, if you're a housekeeper or whatever, a cleaner or a nurse or whoever, and you go into that room and they no longer have the droplet precaution signs on the door, you're going to have no idea. It's kind of like having somebody who you suspect of having TB, tuberculosis, but not placing them in isolation or quarantine area and just having the door open. So it's like that. I suspect not many people have it here, and the media and the government says it's receding.
Why? I don't understand. Why wouldn't they be testing?
They either don't have the test, or they want to make it appear as if it's going away. My wife is still getting like 4 or 5 patients a day at least. They're resuming surgeries at the hospitals in Buffalo and upstate and Western New York. So they're back to normal capacity, maybe slightly above.
So they're resuming non-COVID.
Yeah. I think they just want it to go away, so they don't really want to test.
Word. Yeah. Have you been tested, Shrimp?
Yeah, I was tested at a drive-through, and I did that. I videotaped it and put it on YouTube. The results were inconclusive, and they called me like a few dozen times from the Erie County Health Department, wanted to retest me, and I refused. And, I mean, I got over whatever I had. My wife got an antibody test. It was negative.
Inconclusive. I didn't know that was a possibility for the test. They just didn't get enough
I don't think
sample
they
from
put
you.
the swab. I don't think they put the swab up like my nose deep enough. A lot of people say it's supposed to hurt, but they kind of just got the outside, and then they wanted to retest me. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably negative,
Okay.
but I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I got tested recently as well. I don't have my I haven't gotten the results back yet, but it didn't hurt, but it definitely wasn't that comfortable. I mean, you definitely have to like breathe through your mouth as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not definitely not comfortable, but it seems like they definitely went in deep enough when they tested me. But I'm looking forward to see what the results will be. I don't expect to get a positive result. I mean, I haven't been sick since a while, man. It's been a while since I've been sick. I think last year, beginning of last year is when I had a really bad flu when I was in Japan, but I really haven't been sick since then. But I have been watching your videos you've been doing on not only COVID, but the the other big aspects of the political situation as well. And probably the biggest one has been race. And I did a news update last night, and I don't know if you saw this, but in Oregon, they are requiring only white people to wear masks in a certain county, in Lincoln County, which is,
Yeah.
I thought it was a
And
joke at first, but it is not.
I don't think it'll really hold up though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
I don't know.
expect it to.
I mean, I'm mixed race, so I'm not really trying to be Black Lives Matter, and I'm not white. And like in general, I haven't really been accepted by like white Republicans my whole life. And I mean, Black people don't accept me as one of their own. If I walk on the east side in Buffalo, I'm probably gonna get jumped at night in the summer here. It's not safe because I'm not dark skinned, but I'm still a mixed
Yeah.
race. I'll be viewed as white. Wouldn't be safe for me. I mean, so I'm in the middle. I feel like I have it worse off in sometimes, you know. I don't
Can
know.
you expound on that? Why is that?
Maybe a cop won't pull me over because my skin is pale, because I'm like Turkish and Egyptian and Filipino and Vietnamese and Swedish and Irish and Ashkenazi and like a little bit Arab. So my skin's pale, they might not pull me over, but when they see my ID and see it's like some weird foreign name, then they're like, okay. And if I go to the border with Canada, I'm getting a body cavity search every time, so I don't go to Canada anymore, because every time I go to Canada, they bring me to a room. I have to get naked. They have to take their gloves off. I'm sick of it. Every time I go to Canada, my car gets searched, and this is what happens every time. So I'm not going to Canada. That's what I mean. So I
Wow.
have it like that from white people and the police. And then at the same time, I'm not safe in the all Black neighborhoods on the east side in Buffalo. Like, let's be honest. Anybody watching this in Buffalo or Rochester, at night in the summer, if you're pale skinned or you're mixed or even Hispanic, you can't walk around the east side at night. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by I'm in the middle. And like, I don't like the police, but I see why we need them. But I hate the police. But in reality, we need them. A lot of them are racist. Not all of them, but it seems like a lot.
Wow. So how many times has that happened when you've gone to Canada?
I mean, I've probably been to Canada like a dozen times, and like but most of those times were when I was like a young teenager, like between like 10 and 15. And then probably as soon as I got 18, like it happened like 3 times. So I'm not going back over the border.
Jesus. I didn't know that happened, man. That's
They
messed up.
tear the car apart, everything, and you have to be handcuffed to a table in some stupid room. And I go with white people because most of my friends are white, because I live in America. Most people are white. Most people are white in Buffalo. If they're not, they're probably Black. There's no one who's mixed race like me.
Yeah.
So, but they don't get messed with. They don't even get searched, but I do.
You mean white people or blacks?
I've never went over the border with a black person, but I mean,
Mhm.
I would be like if I did, I would be expecting hell.
Yeah.
With I have an Asian last name that's weird, and I've gone over with like a dozen white people, nothing happens to them, and I'm
Mm.
the one that gets strip searched while they wait in their cars for
That's
me to
messed
get
up.
like a body cavity search.
I did not know that happened. I've only been to Canada twice, and the first time I was a child, so I went with my family, and the second time I went via airplane. But
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
heard that driving over is not a good experience from other people as well.
I'm sure it doesn't happen to everybody. I'm sure that's a rare occasion.
Yeah.
It seems to happen a lot to me though, from police. Not all of them, but I've never had a cop walk up to me if I've called them or somebody else, or I've been around a cop. They've never walked up and be like, "Hello, sir. What can I do for you today?" They're going to be a prick, and I'm expecting
Yeah.
that.
They're
They're not.
so like
They're not nice.
condescending too. Like
Yeah.
just the smirking and you know your IQ is higher than them. I can tell you're a smart dude, Shrimp. And I
And
mean I don't want to, toot my own horn per se, but I mean it's not that hard to be smarter than the average cop, I would say.
yeah, I feel like most of them are like college, like people who didn't make like the NFL, and they're like college or high school like jockeys or like bullies and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Not all of them, and like I'm not talking about only white cops either, because black cops are the same, and so are Hispanic cops. They're like a gang.
Yeah.
When people think of the Russian police, I mean, that's what I think of the American police. But I also realize we need them.
Yeah.
I don't really know what defund the police means, but I don't want to get rid of the police. I don't want to call them, but I still want them there. I don't want the
Yeah.
police gone. It would be chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be yeah, I think that would be worse, no doubt. But
But the cops, I will say the cops where I live in a small town. The cops are pretty cool here. So
oh, nice.
Buffalo police, though. I'm talking about Buffalo police.
Mhm.
There's like 2 cops here. So
Yeah.
there's not, they're both fine. I like the police here, but the
Yeah.
NYPD and the Buffalo police, the Rochester police, I'm not really a fan of them.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't expect you to be, and it's definitely different when you live there, right? And you're local, and the police know your face, right? Um,
Yeah, totally. Small
and
town police are usually pretty cool.
to the locals, they
Yeah.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're just driving through, that's a potential, potentially not a good situation.
If you're a black guy from New York driving through Alabama and some small town police.
Yeah. And just speaking from my own experience too, I'm from Wisconsin, but there's a lot of racists there, and a lot of racist cops, of course, too. So yeah, just avoiding getting pulled over is something that's it's kind of ingrained in me. And I was just wondering too, it being a mixed race person, did you have identity issues growing up?
Yeah, because in Buffalo it's all Italian, and I would try to pass off like I was white a lot of the times, and some people could tell, some people couldn't. My last name is like definitely Asian. I have like weird middle name, so
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I would pretend like I was white, because you tell people you're Chinese, and like some people would want to fight you just for that. So I would get into fights because people would call me Chinaman or Chink. I would just straight up, if you're gonna call me that, we're gonna fight in school. I'll get in trouble. If you're calling me Chinaman, I'm dropping my books and you're getting punched in the face. I don't care if you're 3 years older and way bigger.
Mhm.
You call me a chink, might be a weapon fight, and that's happened to me. people want to walk up to me and spit in my face because I'm part Chinese. So
Yeah.
that's happened.
I've
That
never
doesn't
had
happen
that.
to white people. White people, they act like it does, but black people don't go up to white people and spit in their face and kill them. There's not like a black clan group. And black people exaggerate it too, because I don't know, I live in these country all white neighborhoods. A black person could easily walk down my street, and I'm the street they say you can't walk down. That like this is the area where black people, their protesters say, oh, my son doesn't feel safe walking down. This is like 100% white, all country. I'm like the only one who's mixed here. A black person can walk down my street easily. No one's gonna do anything. So
Yeah.
both sides are exaggerating. Police need to be reformed, and you can't solve racism because South Korea is super racist, but you don't hear anything about that.
Who are they racist against?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Black people, North Koreans, Chinese, white
Japanese.
people.
Koreans and Japanese
everybody.
do not like each other very much.
It's the most homogenous country on earth. It's like 99.8%.
Yeah. It's basically an ethno state in that sense.
Yeah. It's not going to be fun if you're Muslim there, if you're a Turkish Muslim there. It's not going to be fun if you're Jewish or you're a Texas Republican that moves there. So it's not only America seems to have solved the racism problem the best, but we're still where we are.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure if it can ever be, solved. I certainly don't think it can be eliminated. Because I think part of the world, but yeah, as far as the police goes, defund to me sounds like completely like remove all funding, which I don't agree with. But I think funding should be drastically
they burned
cut.
the police station down. That's all fun to watch and be like, yeah, screw the police and put it on my video. But you can't. They get rid of the police there. Look what they just did. You can't get rid of the police in the Twin Cities. I mean, you can't get rid of the police in San Francisco or New York City. I don't like the police, but they have to be there. They're actually doing some. I'm sure they're mostly doing good. And all these little minor things get highlighted. Like there's not a bunch of people dying every day of by like neck strangulations with knees on their neck for 10 minutes. That's pretty rare. But
you would say they're mostly doing good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, especially if you're white or you're pale skinned. In the black neighborhoods, not really doing that much good. But overall, like all cops aren't racist towards black people. Maybe 10%. I have no idea, but it doesn't take a lot of bad cops to ruin everyone's experience.
Exactly.
That one bad cop's going to run into thousands of people in his career, tens of thousands. It doesn't take that many.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want the police here. I don't want them with tanks and stuff. I don't want them looking like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Throwing like tear gas, which we can't even use tear gas in a war, but we could use it in protests. But at the same time, I'm not going to the protest, and I'm not like Antifa's wild. Like, I don't know. I'm not supporting anyone. I'm just kind of sitting back and some sides have some good stuff to say. Others don't. Nobody's really right. The police need to be reformed, and racism's minor, but we don't have there's no racist laws intact in America. So I can't change my neighbors and change them to get rid of the Confederate flag and to get rid of blackface statues and those like black servant statues that probably 20% of my neighborhood has. But you could walk down my street if you're black. They're not going to kill you or say anything.
Yeah.
There's not a law that you could do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on quite a bit of what you said. I have a lot of contempt for the police, and I don't know if I hate them. I don't know if I hate any anyone or any entity, but
It's too many people in prison here.
yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
We're like, oh, look at Turkey, look at China, look at Saudi Arabia. Why don't we need to look at ourselves for once.
Yeah.
We got private prisons imprisoning mostly black people. 50% of them are blacks for money.
Yeah, it's slavery. It's a form of slavery.
I mean, there's probably people in jail, black people in jail for weed for like a few ounces or pounds still in jail for years. I don't know. I think the drug war should end.
Yeah. In California, they have the 3
Yeah.
strikes law.
And then you can't vote.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get a job. You can't really do anything. Well, like once you're a felon, it's really, really hard to do
I like the
anything.
prison system in like the Netherlands and stuff. They send them off to like little islands.
How does that work?
Little like low security like camps and stuff where they have like way more freedom and it's way more successful. You don't hear about gangbanging and hardcore criminals in the Netherlands. America wants Sweden's COVID response, but they don't want their prison reform.
Yeah, or Norway's too. Norway has the lowest recidivism rate in the world.
Yeah.
And
so we could change in America, but we won't. We'll just paint Black Lives Matter on all these streets, which, in my opinion, it's stupid.
I mean, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change anything.
I'm like 5%, like 5.5%, like my DNA is African, and it's like, and I'm like, my mom was like white and Jewish. It's stupid. The Black Lives Matter on the street. I'm standing here mixed race, and it's like white people can't do it. You can't have Chinese lives matter, white lives. We can do like different lives matter on every street. I don't know.
Yeah,
and tearing the statues down. I don't like the Confederate flag, but some of the statues we should keep, I think, because it's history. And that's kind of what the Nazis did. They burned all the books. Now you can't sell books on Amazon. You can't have this statue. And I hate the Confederacy, but I don't know about destroying all these things. We're destroying our history.
Yeah, I think we should put statues in museums, if anything, but not destroy them. And I mean,
everybody was racist 100 years ago. Plus, everybody was racist.
Yeah,
everybody, every race was doing racism and tribalism and slavery, like everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you have to get rid of every statue every 20 years or something.
And that's the thing too about statues is whoever the statue is of, there's always a negative, nobody's perfect, right? There's always some evil that, any one person has done in their lifetime, right? Even Abraham Lincoln, as far as I can tell, I need to do more research, but he was racist too, as far as I can tell. And like after the Civil War,
time was racist.
Yeah, and after the Civil War, 3 northern states voted against outlawing slavery. And
I'm sure Abraham Lincoln called black people the N-word.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I'd bet my life on it. You think he was calling them African Americans?
I really doubt that. And that's the thing too, is people they idealize these historical figures to support whatever argument they're going to put forth, right? And one thing I don't like for example, like Wikipedia is one thing Wikipedia I've done like a 360 on in my life. And when I was in school, you were told by like every teacher how inaccurate Wikipedia is. But like in college, I was like, dude, this is quite accurate as far as I can tell, But then it depends on what the page is, right? Like, for example, the Civil War page. I remember I was reading this years ago in college, and it said that most historians agree that, and I'm not saying I believe this, it said something to the effect of most historians agree or believe that the war was fought over slavery. And now, if you go on the page today, it says definitively, no debate, the war was fought over slavery, which to me, I'm questioning if it was slavery was even an aspect at all. As far as, because wars are about power and money and resources, right? And how many people do you know that would be willing to fight for another race and die for another race? I don't know anyone personally that would do that, and so when you get told this as a child in school, you want to believe it because it's idealistic and it makes humans look good, and you want to believe it because the adults are telling it to you. But then you read more about history and you realize how much like our schooling in the States is, and this is everywhere, this is every country, is a form of indoctrination, and how they only teach you what they want to teach you. For example, the Holocaust is it's terrible. 6 million Jews died, but in World War II, something like 65 million people died. In school, all we hear about is the 6 million Jews.
Yeah.
We don't hear about the Bengalis that were starved to death as a matter of a strategy. The Allies used that as strategy. And
Armenian genocide.
Yeah,
A lot of genocides.
And all we hear about is the Holocaust. And again, one of my best friends is Jewish, so I don't want the simple Simons who may be listening to misconstrue what I'm saying here. But you have to question why that is.
The Jewish one, I guess, was like the craziest one, really.
Mm-hmm.
The Armenian one, was probably about the same, pretty much the same, I guess, as the Jewish genocide when the Turks slaughtered the Armenians.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't admit to it.
Going back to just the mixed race stuff, because I have very few people that I've actually discussed this with, because you actually don't meet too many mixed race folks in the States, especially depending on where you live.
Well, Obama's mixed race, but everyone says he's black.
Right. And same with Meghan Markle. Same with Meghan Markle, the supposed black princess. She's not black. Like, she's mixed. She's mixed race, but because she has like a little bit of black in her, and she looks kind of black, which I mean, she really doesn't, in my opinion. Everyone says she's black because it fits the political narrative.
He looks white to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no white people that claim Obama.
Right. Yeah, and if he was white,
white power Obama, but there's Black Lives Matter that claim Obama. Just funny.
And if he was white, I don't think he would have gotten elected.
Obama, no.
Yeah. And he's someone else too that I've done. Well, just before we go into Obama, I just want to go back to the mixed race thing a bit, because it's something that it's a very lonely experience, I think, for a lot of mixed race kids, because there are not very many of us comparatively to to other races. And when
I think black and white is fine, because then you're just black.
Yeah, right.
No matter how much black you are, if you're black and white, you're black. If I'm 2% black, but I look like pretty black, then I'm just black. Doesn't matter. So, but yeah, anything else than that, like Latino or Mexican or like any of the other like what's considered weirder stuff, I guess, like Turkish, Chinese, any of the Asian stuff, anything from maybe North Africa, that's not considered normal here. But I would say black and white's normal here. You see in New York all those like whenever it's like, oh, let's not be racist towards Chinese and Asians now. I'm looking at it, it's all black people spitting on Chinese people or trying to knock Chinese people out. I'm not sure if I saw any white people doing that. And they're all saying go back to China.
Yeah, and I saw a video of a kid, like some black kids like just knocked out a Chinese guy, and I I don't even know if he was Chinese. He was just Asian in Philadelphia, and that was actually at the beginning of this pandemic. And just speaking on that, man, you can't, like, I cannot say this to people that I know. Like, like this conversation that we're having right now, I can't say these facts to certain people I know because they just freak out. Like, they're like, they think I'm a racist, and I'm like, dude, like, I got jumped, and it was a black person. My wallet got stolen. It was a black person. Okay, and you have to face reality at some point.
White people will make sure you don't get a good job and stuff, but they're not going to kill you walking down my neighborhood, even though there's Confederate flags everywhere. Black people, if I go to the east side, I'm going to get jumped for everything I have, maybe shot. If later tonight I go anywhere on the east side in Buffalo, anywhere, or downtown Rochester, or any black neighborhood in Western New York, which are among the worst neighborhoods in all of the United States, I'm gonna get killed or jumped or robbed. But if I go in the whitest neighborhood, which I'm already living in, nothing's gonna happen. I can go walk my dog. I just might see a Confederate flag. Maybe some dude has a Klan outfit in his closet he's waiting to bring out, but they're not gonna kill me. I'm not gonna be. I've lived in all black neighborhoods. I wasn't safe. I've lived in them like half my life. It's dangerous.
Yeah, and you can't say this to people. Like, I can't say this to people I'm related to.
I grew up in government housing in the ghetto. It's dangerous as hell. When you're mixed race and you're not black living in the ghetto, it's dangerous. When you're black or mixed race living in a white neighborhood, it's not that dangerous. That's why I'm mixed race, and I don't like the police, and I say they're racist, but that's why I'm living in a white neighborhood, because it's safe. So I'm not raising my kids in an all-black neighborhood. It's not going to be safe for them. There's no such thing as a nice black neighborhood in America. That's the problem. You need to figure that out. Bring like upper class all black neighborhoods. Why aren't there any? There's a lot of white ones, Jewish ones, even Persian ones in like Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice Korean neighborhoods, nice Chinese neighborhoods even. I've never been to, maybe there is. Maybe there's like some neighborhood in Atlanta or something that is. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like that's the reality. Racism goes both ways in America, but nobody will admit that.
Yeah.
If you're mixed race, it's not that great from either side.
That's true. And that's the thing too I was talking about earlier, is like we're such a small, pocket and such a small demographic, and not to mention the fact that nobody fucking taught, and I mentioned this a couple, like last week, I think it was, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Nobody talks about Latinos or Asians or Arabs, let alone mixed kids like us,
Politicians talk about the middle class. They don't talk about poor or the lower class. They don't talk about like helping like disenfranchised like mixed race or minorities or anything. They might talk about like black people, but they leave out every other race.
Yeah, and I think I think it's the divide and conquer principle, but at the end of the day, I think they're just trying to manipulate minorities into voting for them, particularly the Democrats.
Yeah. Democrats definitely like use everything that's going on to secure the black vote, and at the same time Republicans are so foolish. It seems like they don't even want the black vote at all.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. You have like what I would call token black people every once in a while on Fox News and stuff, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more things that Trump or maybe Mitt Romney, he went to the Black Lives Matter protest and like kneeled. I'm not going to kneel. I'm not kneeling for any race of anything. To me, that's crazy. White people can kneel for black people they want, but I'm not kneeling for any race of anybody.
Yeah, neither am I. It reminds me of if I don't know if you've seen the movie Riddick. You seen that?
Yeah.
About to know, man. Or
this thing is making it's making black people more racist and white people more racist. Everybody's gonna get more racist off of this.
Yeah. And I think that's what the elites want. And I think it's tying to what we mentioned a couple minutes ago. I think this is more about classism than racism, and racism is being used as a tool against the lower classes, a weapon.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, if you're like a poor white person, that you definitely could tell you're from the hood. You're wearing all like Fila and Starter and whatever else, and you're sagging your pants and you have hip hop on your car, the police are gonna mess with you. If you're a white guy in a suit who's getting off of work from Wells Fargo, they're not gonna do anything. They're probably not even gonna pull you over. So poor white people, poor everybody have it worse off. Not as bad, but it's a caste system of sorts.
It is. It's turning into like the Indian caste system. I agree. And I saw this tweet, and it was kind of funny, and well, kind of sad, really. He said, "You made the American dream unattainable for young people. You then shit on them for not being able to achieve the American dream, and now we're seeing the consequences of that."
Yeah.
And
it's gonna suck for young people. Like, you don't even know if you can go back to college. The hopes of getting a job are crazy. Like, nobody in their mind is like, dude, I'm gonna go to Yale and then I'm getting an MBA and I want to. Nobody is like, people are just thinking in their mind how to survive. If there's gonna be a civil war, if there's second, third waves, is this fake? What's going on? Is the vaccine gonna kill me? Is like everybody, like, nobody knows what's really going on. Nobody knows that the virus is 1%, 0.5%, 20%. What happened in Italy and Spain and Iran looked insane.
Yeah.
But then you look at other places and it's like nothing. So nobody knows what's going on. The hopes for young people are at all-time lows. This is how uprisings and unrest start. It's all these protesters are mostly young people.
Yeah. And you know what I think is playing a huge factor in this too is humans, our lifespans have increased, right, over the last century. Well, you know, the last couple of centuries, but we've kind of almost reached, it seems like a peak, but they've still been going up, you know, and because of that, our politicians' lifespans on average have increased.
Yeah,
and most of the world leaders, most of the world leaders are in their fucking 80s and 70s. I don't even know how old Nancy Pelosi is, but she looks like she's 100.
Yeah, it's like Donald Trump and Biden are both making fun of each other, saying they both can barely walk and they're both so unhealthy. And it's like no one even knows if they're going to be able to stay alive for 4 years. I mean, Trump looks way healthier than Biden, but nobody's expecting Biden to live for 8 years.
Yeah,
everybody's just like, who does he have around him that we like? Trump, at least you know who you're voting for.
Yeah, speaking of that, do you have well, if you want to share who you voted for in 2016, that'd be awesome. But do you have an idea of who you're going to vote for this year, if at all?
I'm not really that big on voting just because I think the voting is flawed. Like, I can predict with 100% accuracy who's going to win New York State, a Democrat, every time. So if they need to do a popular vote. Every vote needs to count. But they have these stupid slogans where every vote counts. I don't like Biden, so I guess Trump. I don't really like Trump that much, but there's only two people, and Trump is better than Biden because Biden, he might die any day. And the other day he said like 130 million people died of COVID in America. He said him and Obama tackled COVID in Africa. He fell.
Fucking Biden.
Yeah, his wife had to finish an interview for him one time because he couldn't finish speaking.
Oh my goodness.
He's got like dementia. So
yeah, Trump, he does.
I mean, I'm not even really Republican, but I guess Trump because that's the only alternative. Trump Trump stopped COVID flights, and everybody pretends like he's the worst on COVID. Well, Trump is the best on COVID for American leaders. Bernie Sanders and Biden and everyone else is like, Trump, you're xenophobic and you're racist for shutting the borders down. Well, they would have left the borders open for how much longer? He delayed it, but then he didn't really follow up that well.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats,
Trump,
yeah, would have been way worse for sure. And yeah, I think
Trump's
almost
better for
regardless of
COVID.
who the president would
Trump
have
is
been,
better for worldwide
yeah.
pandemics than Biden. Biden is, if you're going to vote for the virus, then vote Trump, because Biden will be unable to solve the virus. It would be a disaster. He won't be able to solve any healthcare crisis in the world or America. He called Trump racist and xenophobe. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it, in terms of you kind of know what you're getting with Trump, and it's like, you know, are you gonna pick a dead guy or a guy who's, you know, just as amoral, but at least he's fucking, you know, he has some cognitive ability still there, you know, and you at least kind of know what you're getting. And I said
Yeah,
this
Trump,
before, but I
Trump is
voted for
smart.
Hillary, and I regret that. I wish I would have voted for Trump, but yeah, I'm gonna vote for Trump. I just don't see any you know reason to vote the other way.
Yeah, I mean, unless like somebody like Mitt Romney or Jesse Ventura or some third party runs, Rand Paul or somebody. I don't know. If there's, I think personally, I think that's the best bet for America. Then all the protests stop, and like, I don't know, somebody in the middle would be unifying for America. That
Yeah,
doesn't
I'd
seem
vote
to
for
go
Paul. I'd vote
though.
for Rand Paul, for sure.
Yeah, I think we need like a moderate Republican, I guess, or a libertarian, something.
Yeah,
Like
that would be my first choice, is some like Rand Paul or Ron Paul or some libertarian.
We need another party though, because it's a monopoly in politics. We got monopoly on politics, monopoly on police, monopoly on shopping via Amazon and Walmart and Target and the 2 or 3 other companies. We have like Russian oligarchies forming here, and we have the American police are the KGB. Bernie Sanders, it seems like everybody wanted him, even if you hate him or whatever, you call him a socialist. Like, it seemed like that was the most popular politician for a while.
Yeah,
he had no chance of winning because we have monopolies on everything, and
yeah,
everything's like a scam.
they just squeezed him out again, like in 2016. I remember, like when I was on. Granted, I was on a very, very liberal campus, but you know, even just looking on Twitter, you could just tell that he was the most popular Democratic candidate, certainly. But you know, they just squeezed him out again this year.
Yeah, he would have gave Trump the best shot, I think, way more than Biden. But I have no idea who will win the election, honestly.
Yeah,
anything could happen. I'm pretty.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing that occurred to me as well is, and I'm pretty sure this is happening, is they're just embellishing this pandemic to cause as much civil unrest as possible to try to get Trump out of office.
The Democrats are, for sure. And Amazon has people in DC lobbying for the stay-at-home. If they're not lobbying for the stay-at-home, they're lobbying for something else that is in effect for the stay-at-home. Like Amazon and Walmart, they definitely, all these companies are definitely having backdoor channels, pro-Democrat policies, all liberal policies, so that everybody has to stay home, lose their jobs, everybody has to shop there or work there. Everybody's going to work at Walmart and shop at Amazon in the future.
Work at Walmart. Well, every time you go in Walmart, there's like, you can never find an employee because there's like 3 people that are working in the entire store.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the future is going. And I don't know, the Democrat policies seem to be maybe better for COVID, I guess, but they're way worse for the economy.
Yeah, and I just read
with
that
these lockdowns.
Related to what you just said about Walmart and Amazon, I just read that like Coca-Cola and a bunch of other big companies have withdrawn their advertising money from Facebook unless Facebook censors Trump, anything Trump. And that I read that just today.
I mean, just people don't understand what's happening with just Facebook. They're just like, oh, it's just the advertiser. But when Unilever Unilever, the biggest like advertiser in the world, with like withdraws all like online funding, like hundreds of millions, and I think they were paying like Facebook like 50 million or something a year, and then they were paying Twitter, they were paying everybody, and so they're withdrawing all advertising online, and so everybody is. That crashed the stock market. Like everything, stuff unrelated to Facebook crashed. Everything crashed after that. When the advertising withdrew from Facebook, that caused the market to crash. It's way bigger than just like, oh, they're not advertising soap on Facebook. Who cares? No, that caused like a mini recession just that day. Just them doing that is going to trigger, like, what if Facebook collapses? That's a huge company in America. What if the stock market completely collapses? Facebook's worth nothing. You have millionaires now broke. I don't know. Like, that's what it can lead to. I think they're going too far. Like, I don't care if the Ku Klux Klan advertises on Facebook. I'm a grown-up. I'm going to watch it and be like, I'm probably going to watch it and be like, these guys are idiots. And then leave a thumbs down and be like, you guys are racist. Screw you. And then move on. It's not going to make me want to buy Coca-Cola if I see the advertisement. I'm going to realize, oh, they're not advertising for the Klan. It's just auto-generated. People are going too far. I mean, all this like wokenness and SJW-ness in BLM, it's like it's going to cause the economy to collapse. And people can't work, but they can protest.
Yeah, it's just absurd. And I saw this. I think it was in Minneapolis, actually. No, it was in Portland. Sorry. These young people, man. These children. They're literally children, and I know they're legally adults, but they're so unevolved. And I don't know if it's a function of IQ or what. Like maybe my IQ is just way higher than I thought. I don't know. Like
it's the Northwest culture. I used to live in Seattle. It's extremely liberal there. It's just the culture. Yeah. It's like a different country.
It is. It's a pocket of Marxists, of neo-Marxists, and you got these people, and they literally like sectioned off. I think it was like a park or a turf field that was only for Black people. And I follow this parody account on Twitter, and they always make fun of these kind of leftist woke types. And the person's like, okay, yeah, this is a great idea. Now we need to extend this to restaurants and drinking fountains.
Yeah,
like, it's just regressive, you know?
Yeah, we can't have anything like that. Like any laws based, and we don't have any laws based on race now, so we shouldn't devolve. Yeah, as a mixed race person, I do not want to see like all like this Black privilege stuff that's going around, because I'm not Black or white, and I don't like, I'm sitting here on the sidelines and like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You can't, it's like, it's not reverse racism. It's just racism.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
You can't, and it's related to what we were speaking on at the beginning of our combo. You can't call this out. You can't call out Black racists. You can't call out facts about Black criminality. And I was going to mention this earlier, and it just popped into my head again, because you were talking about the neighborhood you're talking about in Buffalo, East Buffalo, I think you said it was. I was in Minneapolis last year because I had a layover. No, I flew out of there, sorry, because when I was going to Canada, actually. And I took the subway to the airport, or the metro, sorry. And so I was literally in the same area where a lot of those protests were going down. And I've been to almost a dozen countries, and I know when I'm uncomfortable in public. And I was not comfortable in this area. And like literally a week later, now granted, it was during the day. It was I think the afternoon. So I wasn't expecting something to happen per se, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm keeping everybody in front of me, you know, that type of situation. And literally a week later, some white guy got just the shit knocked out of him because he was there at like 4 a.m. like trying to be friends with a bunch of gang members who were all Black. And like, if that was reversed, like you would have heard about that on every single news network except Fox.
Well, the reason why white racism is worse is because most white people know not to go to an all-black neighborhood. Everybody knows who is not black that black neighborhoods are generally low income and they're shooting. It's not safe, like especially at night in the summer. Black neighborhoods are not safe unless it's like the one I've never been to that's like an all upper class one with all mansions. I haven't seen that one ever, but white neighborhoods are safe. Like white people, they're safe to be around. They just won't hire you for good jobs, and their police are all racist and they're all Republicans. There's no gay police or Democrat police. There's no Black Lives Matter police. Even the black police, they're not for Black Lives Matter. There's just I don't know who's more racist in America. I'm sure if you could study it somehow, you can find the most racist group in America, and maybe it's not white people. White people generally have the power, though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to an all-black neighborhood at night, so I'm not going to get beat up, but I'm not going to like get the best job in the world or whatever. And I'm not going to enjoy the privilege of like being named Stephen Smith and like being pulled over and the cop like doesn't do anything. He's like, "Have a good day, sir."
Yeah. I saw this interview with a fraudster who he defrauded the mortgage banking system for like tens of millions, and his story is ridiculous, man. His name is Matthew Cox, and just the amount of time kind of bamboozled cops just using. Can you hear me okay, Shrimp?
Yeah.
You hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
so
you.
the amount of time, so he was telling a story, and that he just bamboozled and basically bewitched police officers using just his charisma and his ability to communicate is astounding, man. Like he told me, well, not me, I was listening to this interview and I was listening, and he got arrested and he was talking to the police officer and the detective. He got the detective to take off his handcuffs, and he eventually got on a first name basis with the detective who arrested him. And I was like, dude, there is no way anyone but a white guy could do this. Now, granted, he's very talented and very charismatic and all that, but I could not do that, you know, no matter how charismatic I was. And I don't think you could do that. And certainly not any black guy or straight up Latino could do that. You got him to take off his cuffs, and you got him on a first name basis, all within a matter of like 10 minutes. I was like, wow, that is impressive.
But like, I also think Denzel Washington is going to not really face any racism versus me. So.
Yeah. And that goes back to the classism thing we were talking about too. If you got money, you're set.
Oh, yeah, if you're a rich black person in America, you got it made. You're not gonna have racism. Maybe a cop pulls you over and searches your van or your car or whatever for weed, but overall, you're a black person in America, you're rich. You got it made.
Yeah.
I'd rather be black and rich than poor and white.
Yeah, as long as you have money in America, you are, you know, money talks, regardless of. And I saw this interview with Matthew Weiner, the guy who created Mad Men, and he said this too. He said, regardless of who you are in America, if you have money, you will be listened to.
Yeah, like I think a lot of the police are racist, and I don't like the police, but I think if the police were called, because me and my neighbor, who was like a rich black guy, if like a bystander called the police on us, I think the police would take the rich black guy's side. If he was in a nice suit and he was well presented, they would take his side over mine, or a poor white person, or a middle class white person.
Yeah, even just how you talk to people, your accent, your diction.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
if you're white and you're using slang, you get pulled over by the police, you're gonna have more of a hard time.
Oh yeah, and you have to code switch, and this is something that I think you have to learn too, because I mean, I think you probably have experience with this, ShrimpZoo, if you you know, just interacting with different races and different groups of people, like I did when I was younger, because I never really felt like I fit in anywhere. And you know, everybody has their own slang, their own way of talking, you know, depending on the race, where they're from, what group they're in, right? Whatever activity they are. And you have to talk their language, right? If you want to feel accepted. So I think having that code switching skill is extremely important, but especially if you get pulled over by the police, you have to be able to talk
Yeah,
white
you have to respect them. Talk
Yeah.
plain English and respect them. You can't talk slang or talk street at all.
Right. Yeah.
Talk white, I guess. I don't think people will say that, but yeah, talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's not accurate to say because, like you said, there are white people who they literally talk like they're, you know, with a ghetto accent, because that's where they're from. But yeah, just being well spoken, I think, goes a long way.
I watched the Lil Wayne interview from like 5 years ago, and I thought he was so stupid back then in the interview. And he was being interviewed on like ESPN when the Black Lives Matter started, and they're like, "Oh, you've never experienced racism." Lil Wayne was like, "Yeah, my whole life I've never experienced racism." So go like look at Lil Wayne. And then I was like, "Oh, he's so stupid, he's so wrong." But now I get it. He's like a billionaire, so obviously he hasn't. He's been a billionaire his whole life. And that's why he never even heard of Black Lives Matter when he was interviewed, why he had no idea what it was, and why he didn't support it.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad too because there are, I mean, like not even just Wayne, but like other people, powerful men who are brown or black or whatever, even guys I follow on Twitter who I learned from. It's quite disappointing, to be honest, how none of them are like kind of speaking up in because they're afraid, you know, they're afraid to lose money. And you know, maybe I should not pass judgment on them because I'm not in that sort of influential position that they are in. So maybe I would do the same thing and just bite my tongue were I in that position. But I really hope I wouldn't, because I interpret that as and you're holding your tongue in these times, regardless of your position. I think you're being a coward.
Yeah.
So
the normal person shouldn't get into political arguments on the street, though.
Yeah,
it's
I would
fine
agree
for
with
me
that.
and you on YouTube, but just don't debate Black Lives Matter on the street or Republican versus Democrat on the street.
Yeah, that's not very intelligent thing to do. You could definitely get in a fight quite easily, depending on where you live, especially in the Pacific Northwest. Like, there's no debate, and you know there are other pockets like this in around the country, but I think it's it's kind of all over the country too, to a certain extent, to the point where I call you racist, Shrimp. I call you sexist, and that's it. That is it. You know, you're a racist. You're a sexist.
The Buffalo News was calling me a white supremacist for a long time. And they were outside of my house threatening to reveal my wife's identity because I was leaking that Buffalo had COVID patients when they were saying they didn't. And they were trying to say I was like a MAGA supporter and a white supremacist and everything. So it's easy to call people Nazis or white supremacists just to shut them up.
Yeah, and people just buy it. They just believe it. Like, that's their first impression of you. You know, most of them, you know, the ones, especially the people on the left, I think, and the people who aren't critically thinking, you know, there's no due process. That's it. You know, as soon as you get accused, it reminds me of, and I just saw an article in the New York Times, no less, which I think was quite surprising, talking about Trump basically bringing more due process to college campuses so far as the Me Too movement, because you're just, and this is when I was in college.
They're too liberal. I went to college in Seattle. It's like, and I don't know what people think I am. If they think I'm liberal, conservative, I feel like I'm in the middle, like a liberal Republican or conservative Democrat. I don't know what I would call myself, but I went to college there, and I think really liberal on a lot of stuff, but Northwest colleges are way too liberal. There's not like one Republican. There's not many Republican teachers, not even like people who are libertarians or independent. That's why Jordan Peterson has such a tough time. And I don't even know if he's a mega fan or, I mean, he's Canadian, I believe, right?
Yeah, he is. He
seems like he's like neutral. I don't know if I wouldn't really call him conservative. I don't know, but that's why he has a really hard time, even though a lot of his stuff seems pretty logical.
Yeah, it does, and he's certainly a very smart guy too. But yeah, Pacific Northwest too. That's actually where Brett Weinstein's fiasco happened with regards to Evergreen State.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm referring to, yeah. And
the whole thing with like like my sister has like that on her phone, which she wants to be called like she, her, hers, like when everyone wants to be called like all like weird stuff, like they or them or
yeah.
I'll call people whatever, but I might not get it right. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are just men or women, or I guess there's hermaphrodites, so that's a real problem for them.
Definitely. Well, we've been at it for an hour here, ShrimpZoo, and I definitely want to be respectful of your time. I want to thank you for joining me on the roundtable, and I'd love for you to join me again. And I will, of course, share this file with you if you want to post it on your channel. And I will put Mr. ShrimpZoo's links in the description box below. And these sorts of collaborations, guys like us and YouTubers like us, it's kind of required because we are being shadow banned. And as far as I can tell, the only way we can grow is by doing collaborations with other people, because I actually just was told. Yeah.
I'm decreasing. I'm hoping your channel grows.
Oh,
my
thanks,
channel
man.
cannot grow. I'm done on YouTube. It's only going down.
You're gonna keep at it though, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos, but I went from like 80,000 views in a few days to like 500 views a day on a video. My videos are like shadow banned.
Wow.
I'm having like 1,000 people unsubscribe every week or two. I lost like 6,000 subs.
I just got my video earlier today. Some people were commenting that they haven't been notified of my new videos in weeks.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's in a way it's impressive because I mean I don't even have that many subscribers, so it's almost certainly just some sort of computer algorithm that they just and like I doubt anybody looks at it. There's just way too many videos on YouTube.
It's computers, but I hope your channel grows. I'm confident I'm stuck or decreasing.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. I think, I think if you just keep at it, it's just a matter of time. Like, look at, I can't think of
else. You should do it too. You should be on somewhere else just in case you're banned or whatever.
Have you done, or have you joined Parler yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I just joined that yesterday, and I'm still getting like, but apparently it's getting real big. It was, I think it was #1 on iTunes App Store in the social media category yesterday. So it seems to be picking up steam, which I think is cool.
All right, I'll check it out. I'm working on a website too to post my videos on.
So for sure, definitely. As soon as you have that out, man, just share that, and I'll be sure to head that way. And you have a Twitter, but you don't have a Facebook, right, Shrimp?
Yeah, I don't have a Facebook because they weren't allowing my videos. I'll probably make a Facebook again eventually, but like,
okay,
YouTube is the most tolerant, I guess. My videos will get taken off like Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, wow. And what about Instagram? You got an Instagram?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. So I'll put your Twitter in the link or in the description box as well. And then as soon as you get a Facebook, just let me know and I can add it. But thanks everyone for joining, for tuning in to this chat on the COVID Roundtable with Mr. ShrimpZoo. I'm sure we're going to chat again in the future if people want to tune into that. And until next time, people, appreciate it.
No. Bien. don't know.